I do not own the rights to the music that's being played ahead of the Low Key podcast. I do not own the rights to the music that's being played ahead of the Low Key podcast. For future podcasts and for past podcasts, I do not own the rights for the music that's being played for the Low Key podcast. This is episode 19 of the Low Key podcast, the Multiverse of Madness. What's going on? This is episode 19 of the Low Key podcast, the Multiverse of Madness. Pretty much what I'm going to be getting into is, of course, what's going on with Spider-Man and all the casting that's going on and everything that's been going on and pretty much the rumors. And what I'm going to do is do a little bit of comparison because recently, earlier this year, you seen DC do with the Flash movie, adding Batman, which is Michael Keaton's Batman, and also Ben Affleck's Batman. Both of those Batmans are coming in. And we have a whole new Batman with Robert Pattinson's Batman. So I just want to basically combine what's going on and show the comparisons with what's going on with the comic book movies and what Marvel is doing and what DC is doing with their multiverse. So, of course, we got news. What made me really want to talk about this today, like I said, what made me really want to talk about this was some news coming out today. And we have pretty much Charlie Cox is the guy that plays Daredevil for Netflix's Daredevil, which went back to Marvel. The Daredevil rights went back to Marvel recently. And what I'm hearing now is that his Daredevil is supposed to be a part of the Spider-Man 3 with Tom Holland. So right now, I'm going to dive into pretty much what's been going on, even before we got to the whole Daredevil thing. The first pretty much news we got about Spider-Man 3 was that Doctor Strange was going to be in it. So that's pretty much an indication of what's going on with this whole multiverse thing. I don't feel like it's a spoiler saying that because they're announcing all this stuff. Everybody see what's going on as far as the casting. Next, you had Jamie Foxx's character coming on. Now, this is my thing. Before I even dwell into the rest of the people that's being added to Spider-Man 3, I want to talk about why people I feel like don't think the Spider-Mans are coming back. You're not bringing in their villains that was in these Spider-Man movies without bringing in these original Spider-Mans too. To me, that makes no sense. Why would they bring back these villains that was from these past Spider-Man movies and not bring the older Spider-Mans back too? To me, that's pretty much a dead giveaway to say that we bringing these Spider-Mans back too. I wanted to say that because I keep seeing these about rumors. No, these guys are going to be back. Everybody's pretty much going to be back. When they announced today, which I'm about to get into next, which is the whole Dr. Octopus. I can't pronounce the guy's name. I wish I could, but Dr. Octopus, which was in Spider-Man 2, which was the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, his Dr. Octopus is going to be in Spider-Man 3. This is confirmed. Absolutely 100% confirmed now. So that's my thing with that and saying if these guys are coming back, you know that the older Spider-Mans are coming back, which is Tobey Maguire Spider-Man Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Yeah, Andrew Garfield. I wanted to make sure I say his name right. But yeah, because honestly, I don't think too many people care for Amazing Spider-Man 2. I mean, Dr. Octopus Spider-Man, Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 is one of the ones that people consider one of the best comic book movies to this date. So I get that, but what's going on with what they doing with Amazing Spider-Man 2 is pretty much seem like, okay, it's there, so we got to add that. That's what I look at that as. And to be honest, in my honest opinion, I never even watched those Amazing Spider-Man movies. Not once. I didn't watch one or two. I watched all of the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, and I'm currently up to date with the Marvel Spider-Mans. But seeing that they've done all of that with adding these characters, now, like I said, I'm seeing that they're going to add the Daredevil character, which is played by, of course, Mr. Cox. Excuse me, Charlie Cox. He plays Daredevil on Netflix. And like I said, those rights for Daredevil have went back to Marvel as far as I know. So now we're looking at Daredevil being in Spider-Man 3 also. And I don't know, like I said, I didn't dive too much into comics, not Marvel or DC, but when it comes to the animated series to me was basically the comics. It was the comics. When I watched those, I basically got everything I needed to know about these characters. That's why I'm saying, if they're going to do Charlie Cox's Daredevil, are they going to do Kingpin? You see what I'm saying? Like, are they going to bring the Kingpin off that Daredevil show on Netflix to Spider-Man 2? And I ain't mean to say like Spider-Man 2 is saying Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2, but I'm saying like if they're going to bring that to Spider-Man, they're going to bring all of this Spider-Man, because they pretty much done got everybody that's been in the past Spider-Mans and bringing them in. I'm hearing Kristen Dunst is supposed to be in it. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Emma Stone. Was it Emma Stone that was in the Amazing Spider-Man? If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but if I'm not mistaken, it's Emma Stone. But I know for sure Kristen Dunst, which was part of the Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, is also supposed to be a part of the whole Spider-Man 3 thing with Tom Holland, Marvel Spider-Man 3. So yeah, it's a lot going on. And honestly, it's exciting because to see everything they got going on, because the thing about the Daredevil thing is that was one of the good and best shows on Netflix as far as the Marvel shows out of all of them. It's not even a comparison, honestly. Even with the Punisher, to me, the Punisher didn't get nowhere near as good as I thought it was going to be, being that to me, the Punisher is the best on that Daredevil season, which I think is season 2 of Daredevil. Yep. That's the best version of that Punisher. Even with his own show, to me, it was so much of a better version when he was on there with Daredevil. And if they're going to bring Daredevil into the mix as far as the Tom Holland Spider-Man 3, I think it would be real, real straight if they brought in Kingpin from the Daredevil. I really do. But as far as, I think that's pretty much all the characters we got so far. Like I said, you pretty much are guaranteed that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are coming back. You pretty much guaranteed that. Now, this is where I'm coming in with the whole comparison and saying, is Marvel getting all this together because of the news what DC is bringing in Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck back as Batman in the Flashpoint movie? Because I don't know if people remember this, and I'm not even for sure this is true, but a while back when it was announced that they was doing the whole Batman v Superman thing, they said right after that, I mean, because the news was there was no Civil War coming. There was no plans for a Civil War, as far as I know of what I heard. But when that Batman v Superman news was announced, that's when you had Civil War being basically the idea being brought up and being put together. And basically Kevin Feige going in, bringing in Black Panther, and that's pretty much what he did with everything, bringing in all these characters going against each other. So that's why I'm asking, is Marvel reacting to what DC is doing because of what they got going on? And even with the whole James Gunn thing, it's deeper than y'all really understand, because there's a lot of things they say is going on. They're talking about like a Thunderbolts thing, and I started reading up on the whole Thunderbolts thing. That's being the Red Hulk, the Black Widow's sister, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's a couple other characters. But as far as I know, Thunderbolts is supposed to be, I guess, the opposite of Suicide Squad. You know what I'm saying? But as far as that go, but as far as what I'm talking about now with the Spider-Man 3 and what they got going on, I feel like, honestly, with my opinion, I think this is always an idea. As far as the whole multiverse thing, I think that was always going to be a part of the plan. But I will say this: I don't think the whole bringing back the old Spider-Mans and even the old Spider-Man villains from the past films, I don't think that was part of the plan. I think when this whole thing happened with Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck, I think if they would have just said Michael Keaton, maybe they wouldn't have counteracted like this and going to get all the people they're trying to get for the Spider-Man 3 as far as with the new one with Tom Holland. But seeing all the moves they're making and seeing everything they're doing, I feel like it's definitely a counterpunch to what DC is doing, because that's a huge announcement saying you're going to bring back not only Michael Keaton, but Ben Affleck, who we all thought that was done. That was a zip. I ain't talking about Michael Keaton. We talking about Ben Affleck. We thought that was a zip. It wasn't happening no more. And to see him coming back, it's like, to what capacity also? And Michael Keaton, and seeing what they're going to do with that, because my thing now is DC going to try to counterpunch? Are they going to go maybe hit up a Christian Bale, you know what I'm saying, from the Nolan Batmans to try to bring him in? Maybe even Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. I don't know if they're going to go that far, you know what I'm saying, because I know Michelle Pfeiffer's already pretty much in the whole Marvel thing with Ant-Man, but also Michael Keaton is also in there, you know what I'm saying, as far as the whole Spider-Man thing with him being Vulture. So with everything they're doing and with everything Marvel and DC is trying to do, I feel like, I don't know if DC is going to try to counterpunch and try to come back with something else. I mean, it'd be crazy if they get Jack Nicholson to come back as a Joker. I think that'd be crazy. That'd be absolutely crazy. Is Jack Nicholson even still acting? I mean, I'm saying, I ain't seen Jack Nicholson in a while, but anyway, man, R.I.P. Heath Ledger, man. That, good gracious, man. R.I.P. Heath Ledger, Dark Knight Joker, man. But even then, you have, did Bane die in The Dark Knight Rises? I don't think they're going to go that far, because, I mean, you have Tom Holland pretty much as Venom. But I don't know if DC has enough past characters that they could even bring back the way that Marvel does as far as with these Spider-Mans they're doing, because they got it, man. Tobey Maguire, that Spider-Man was a successful Spider-Man. Even with 3, do you think they're going to bring back the Venom from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3? I mean, I don't see that. I don't know if they're going to go that far, especially with the whole Venom. They got a whole nother Venom that's going on right now with Sony. And that's another thing. They got a Venom 2 that's supposed to be about to come out. And I'm not mistaken. Is that done or not? I don't know. I got to find that out. But with everything that Marvel is doing and with everything that DC is doing, this is just exciting on both ends as far as my opinion. It's very exciting because the films that we pretty much, I would say, kind of grew up on is like the Spider-Mans. We definitely grew up on those Batmans, Tim Burton Batmans with Michael Keaton. But with the Spider-Mans, I mean, some of us probably in school or whatnot. I think I was in school. But seeing all this past coming up with the stuff we're watching now with the new Tom Holland and seeing everything they can do with that, I think that's going to be crazy. I really do think that's going to be crazy. And with what DC is doing, bringing back Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck, and then you have everything that's going on with Zack Snyder's Justice League and what they're doing with that, bringing back the Joker and Deathstroke. And as far as Joker, I'm talking about the Joker from Suicide Squad, which was the one with Will Smith in a minute. You know, the first Suicide Squad, not the new one they're doing with James Gunn, but the other one they did with David Ayer. But yeah, to see what everything they doing with that, I think everything is getting crazy. But with Spider-Man, it just, I guess people are saying, like, why are they announcing all this? This ain't going to be a surprise. I'm going to tell you now, and I hope this is not spoilers, but I'm telling you now, I'm about to say something that I think is going to happen with Spider-Man 3 and Tom Holland. I think this is going to be a reveal with Spider-Man 3, the Tom Holland one. So if you don't want to hear that reveal, you can go ahead and shut it off and do what you need to do, because it could be a potential spoiler for Spider-Man 3, the Tom Holland Spider-Man 3. So if you don't want to hear anything, get on up out of here. I'm telling you, get up out of here. But you done had your warning. You done had your warning. What I think with all these announcements that's going on with Spider-Man 3, the Tom Holland one, the thing that I think they're about to do is introduce Miles Morales. That will set everything off. The same way it did with J. Jonah Jameson showing up at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, the original J. Jonas that they had in the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. To have Miles Morales come on in right now is very, very pivotal. And I don't see how they're not going to do that. You got the whole thing with Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse being a huge success as far as the movie with critics and what they're going to do probably with that sequel and the numbers they're going to do. Well, I know with the pandemic going on and everything though, but not only that, with the whole thing with the video game and the success of the video game with the whole Spider-Man Miles Morales video game on PlayStation 5 and stuff. So I think, in my opinion, that's going to be the surprise of Spider-Man 3 because you're throwing everything out here. You've thrown out that you pretty much going to have all the old villains from the past Spider-Mans in here. You're going to have the old Spider-Mans. Now you're going to have Daredevil from Netflix that everybody pretty much love, one of the favorite of the Netflix Marvel shows. So what's the surprise you're going to have in this movie? Then that's my thing, and I think that's going to be Miles Morales. Is this going to be Tom Holland's last Spider-Man? No, not absolutely not. I think he's prepping for another Avengers movie most likely. But I will say, because I know Marvel and Sony had a new deal, and I think it was 3 films if I'm not mistaken. I think 3 or 2. If I'm not mistaken though, I'm pretty much sure it's 3. But if these movies are as good as I think they're going to be, I would love to see Marvel and Sony re-back up, because to see everything they have going on with Morbius and the way they can intertwine that, if you don't know, Morbius is the living vampire. That's part of the Spider-Man thing. But I remember watching that animated series of Spider-Man, and if they can do that similar thing and have Blade come in, which I think, man, they're going to do some crazy things. Damn, man, this pandemic, man, it's just slowed so much stuff up. But to see everything they got going on and to see the way they going, it's exciting on both ends, on DC and Marvel, because we don't know what's going to happen now. Anything can happen now, because who is expecting Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck to come back as Batman, let alone Ben Affleck? But you're going to tell me Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Dr. Octopus from Sam Raimi Spider-Man coming back? Not only that, you're going to get Jamie Foxx, which wasn't nobody even asking for, as far as him being Electro coming back. We're going to get all of that. Then you're going to bring in Daredevil. Like this, you don't know what's going to happen. And that's the exciting thing, because I think we got to a point with social media that we know everything that's coming out. Just like with this stuff, ain't no hype no more because we know what's coming. But I'm excited, and I'm just expecting the next news to come out, the next news to hit to tell us, yo, this and such is going to be joining this cast now. That's going to be crazy. But like I said, I just wanted to get into some of the things that's going on with Marvel and DC as far as their movies and the excitement I have for the casting news of everything that's going on with their movies. Once again, this was the Low Key Podcast, episode 19, the Multiverse of Madness. Holla.